And welcome to the next video of my LPL 2024 preview series where we're going to cover LGD, otherwise known as LGD Gaming, a team that has definitely been towards the bottom of the standings the last few years. In 2021, they went 12-21. In the last two seasons, they've went 7-25. One of the worst orgs in LOL esports in the major regions. Not even close to being a playoff team. Just really struggling. The average age of their roster this year is 22 years old. They swapped a couple positions. They got rid of Decade and Fearness. Both were splitting top lane duties last year. They also allowed Envy and LPC to walk. Both were their 80 carries. This year, they've added Birdall from Live Sandbox, so a Korean import. And then Kepler and Shawi in the 80 carry role. So they're going to have a position battle at ADC and went with Birdall in top lane. Now, I noticed when doing this board, this team's prospect pool is trash. And if you watched my last video where I talked about, who's it, JDG? Was JDG the video before this one? I believe so. Really good team will not have great prospects for the majority of the time because there's no angle to get to pro play. LGD, hell, you could get to pro play in any of these roles. Maybe not jungle. Jungle is probably the best player on this team. In the other four roles, you could probably get to the LPL. Based on last year's roster going into this season. However, when an organization does so poorly year after year after year, one has to wonder, as a prospect, is it worth it to go to this org, or do I just wait another split or another year and try and make it with somebody else because this team can't develop me? And that's what it's looking like. So in top lane, you have Birdall, who will be 20 years old in a couple days. 74 games played, had a 2.3 KDA, 8.3 CS per minute, 47.8 KP. So solo dolo on his own, on an island in top lane. Not very involved. We'll see how that goes for LGD this year. 21.3 gold share, 438 damage per minute, 22.3 damage share. Now, this is the puzzling part. Against LCK tops, despite not involving himself in team fights and things like that, he was behind big time. 395 gold, 7 CS, 285 XP at 15 minutes. So if he's not going to make it against LCK tops, maybe LPL tops, it's a reach. 23 solo kills, 15 champions played. Kesante, Nar, and Jax account for 66% of his games. So 2 out of every 3 games, it was one of those 3 champions. Behind him is Genuine. Genuine has no experience on Leaguepedia, so I doubt he's pressuring Birdall for a spot. Meteor in the jungle, their best player at 24 years old, carry-oriented jungler. 77 games played, 2.9 KDA, 5.7 CS per minute, 70.9 KP. 19.2 gold share, 349 damage per minute, 16.6 damage share. This team's only chance of stealing games is through him. 18 champions played. Maokai, Sejuani, Wukong, his most played. They account for 57%. Behind him is Zap. Zap played AD carry, he played support, he played mid last year. Didn't play jungle, but that's what he's playing this year. So maybe he's going to go for all 5 roles or something. I don't know, but he is not pressuring Meteor for that spot. Hai Chow at mid lane, 20 years old, was okay. Given that LGD is a disaster, being okay on a team like that is impressive. 70 games, 3.3 KDA, 8.6 CS per minute, 61.3 KP. So not very involved, but got above the average that I would consider for mid lane at 8.5 CS per minute. 22.5 gold share, 498 damage per minute, 24% of damage. That kind of goes to show you, though, just how little bit of damage was coming from mid lane. I mean, hell, 24%, that's really low. Decade and Fearness must have been dealing quite a bit in top lane to offset the rest of this. 17 champions played in the 70 games. High Chow's most played, Ari Jace Akali, accounted for 37%, so a wide champion pool. A lot of different looks out of High Chow. XQW is behind him at 20 years old, a player that did play 7 games in the LPL this past season. So about just over a quarter of these games are LPL, so keep that in mind. 25 games, 2.2 KDA, 8.5 CS per minute, 70.1 KP, 22.2 gold share, but 651 damage per minute. Very different than High Chow. A lot more aggressive. KDA is lower, but the DPM is a hell of a lot higher. Excuse me. And 11 champions in 25 games. I could see there being pressure there again this season. Now we have Kepler at 21 years old. I think Kepler is LPL worthy. I think this bot lane should be okay. Jin Zhao stinks, but Kepler is, I believe, to be pretty good. At 21 years old, hit a 64 KDA, 3.8 CS, 3.8. This is my 7th video recording today. 64 games played, 3.8 KDA, 10.4 CS per minute, 70.7 KP. He played with one of those non-LPL affiliated LDL teams last year. 25.5 gold share, 686 damage per minute. A lot of damage coming out of Kepler. He played for Thunder Talk last year in 2022. He's played for quite a while, actually, which poisoned the well for the community on him, in my opinion, because when you play at 18, 19 years old and you stink, people are going to write you off. And I think that he's shown the promise, once again, to be an LPL level player. 13 champions played in the LDL. I should have actually written down his champions, and I didn't. Xiao Yi in the backup role, or if you would even say he's in the position battle. Played with IG and JDG last year in the LDL. 62 games, 3.3 KDA, 9.6 CS per minute, 72.3 KP. 25.2 damage, 25.2 gold share, 703 damage per minute. So he's very aggressive as well. Does he have as great of stats as Kepler? No, but also I don't know how old he is. He could be 18 years old for all I know. In which case, these numbers are a lot more impressive with that context. 14 champions played as well. Yi is their LDL 80 carry as of the moment. Age unknown. No stats to go over. So that is 4 players that don't have any stats to really talk about in their on their LDL team. Jin Zhao, 25 years old. I don't know how this guy still has a job. I really don't. 77 games played, 2.2 KDA, 63.7 KP, so you are not involved at all. 184 damage per minute, and that high damage per minute is as a result of his champion pool. In 17 games, his most played were Nautilus, Heimerdinger, and Rakan. So a lot of Heimer games in his 77, which is going to boost his DPM. They account for just under half of his games, actually. And then Ming Xian, the backup support, is a role-swapped 80 carries. So they have 2 role-swapped players. They have a bunch of guys that I don't know anything about because there's nothing to look at on Leaguepedia. Their coach is 1874, and he is 7-25 over his career as a head coach at the LPL level. He was an LDL coach prior to that. I mean, I haven't hidden how I think this team is going to fare this year. When I originally saw it, I said to myself, this team could be the worst team in LOL Esports this year. Definitely the worst Eastern team. And then you get into the argument of, well, Western teams are worse. That's a conversation for another day, but this team, I don't think, has much going for itself. And I try and be unbiased doing this, but I also have to be real. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.